Now, contrary to popular belief, the nose of the Sphinx was not broken off by cannon fire from Napoleon Bonaparte or any of his troops. I'll talk about the nose in another video, but Napoleon does have an interesting history with the Sphinx and Egypt itself. If you didn't know, Napoleon Bonaparte had a campaign in Egypt in 1798. This was a military campaign and occupation of Ottoman territories in Egypt, originally by the French. He also came prepared in a lot of different ways with something called a savant. A savant was a scientist or scholar that were deployed in Egypt to record and research the area. There were 167 in total that ranged from geologists, mathematicians, chemists, physicists, naturalists, botanists, engineers, and even artists. Now, this was pretty unusual for a military campaign, but this deployment of intellectual resources is considered an indication of Napoleon's devotion to the principles of enlightenment, though it was also a way of propaganda in hiding the true motives of the invasion, which was increasing his power. When it comes to Napoleon and the Sphinx, there's this very famous portrait called Bonaparte Before the Sphinx by the French artist Jean-Léon Gérôme. It is also called Oedipus, in a reference to the Greek myth of Oedipus and the Sphinx. The best part is that this is a very, very accurate image of what the Sphinx looked like when Napoleon was in Egypt, and to be honest, very accurate to what the face looks like now. I will say, technically, the artist was painting this a little bit later and presented this to the Salon in Paris in 1886. So actually, really later, about 80 years later. And at that time, the Sphinx had already been partially excavated, but this is what it probably looked like when Napoleon was there himself. The artist had previously painted images of Napoleon during his Egyptian campaign, including this one as he looks over the city of Cairo. Both of these pieces are at the Hearst Castle in San Simeon, California. And I have to shout out this very, very funny caricature version of this painting from Life magazine in 1908, showing Teddy Roosevelt as the Sphinx of Egypt.